Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a guest speaker this morning. I'll let you introduce him.
Well, it's Doug Show, Walter. He's one of our dispatch supervisors. He was a little jealous of listening to us on the radio because since he promoted, they took him off the radio, so he kind of talks to himself a lot. But we brought him in because we're going to have an open house. We're hiring some dispatchers, and that's Doug's bread and butter, so here he is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Doug Showalter. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks.
All right, so let me get this straight. You're a dispatch supervisor.
That's right.
Which means you oversee the dispatchers.
Yep.
You're in charge of, like, training?
Training. There for a while, I was in charge of the state training program up in Sacramento, so that was pretty cool.
So you know your stuff then.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
You've been a dispatcher yourself?
Yep. I'm in my 25th year right now.
20.
So you still answer the phones?
I do answer the phones. There's a good chance if you call 901, you may get old Doug.
All right, we got to talk, man. I got some questions here.
Uh-oh.
I got some questions here,
I'm
man.
nervous.
All right, so listen. I find this fascinating, though, because you get a call on 911. It can be anything from a horrific traffic accident to somebody at McDonald's upset that they didn't get enough French fries.
That's exactly it. In this area is kind of unusual. I worked all over the state. In this area, we get a lot of those. Either it's in a really extreme emergency, a car flipped over, something like that, or we get a lot of animal calls where people are reporting birds that look like they're disabled on the freeway because they're standing one leg pulled up.
Yeah.
Or they see
They're
a cow.
standing on one leg and people have called in. Like,
People call in and say there's a bird that looks injured. He's only got one leg, and it's one of those egrets that have one leg. Or they pull one leg up as they're standing there. So it's a little odd, but and that's the best part of my job is we never know what you're going to get when you say
I guess
that.
no 2 days are ever the same in that job, are they?
Never.
You have to. I'm also amazed, I guess, and maybe it's something that you teach people. You have to maintain, I would think, a level of calm.
I would hope.
When dealing with somebody who calls, but you also have to get the information from them as quick as possible, and they're generally in kind of a freaked out state. Yes?
Yeah, it's one of the toughest parts of the job is actually dealing with somebody who's emotionally distraught.
Yeah. And
we teach people over time. I mean, our training is almost a year, but we teach people how to get that information, being calm. And one of the best ways is to use somebody's name. That works real well. Instead of saying, sir, you say, Bill, you sound like you're really upset. What happened? Tell me what's going on. And then they'll give you that kind of information.
I gotcha.
I know. I mean, you think about doctors and firefighters, police. It takes a special type of person to be able to deal with something like that. Because I don't think I could remain calm. I don't think I would be good at that.
Well, and I think for me, like when I call, like I'm bad with directions. So it's like, where did the accident happen? I'm like, well, I'm on the 101, and I'm between Santa Margarita and Atascadero. Well, that's an 8-mile stretch there. So,
well, we dispatch all the way down to Solvang and all the way up to the end of San Luis Obispo County, up Templeton up there.
So you wouldn't be good at it either, Tom.
Well, our dispatchers have to know the area, so they have to know all the weird little landmarks and things like that.
You
so
do.
when somebody says, "Yep, we have to know those things."
Mainly for like the 101 or like all side
the
roads?
101, the 154,
Gotcha.
the 227, all that stuff. So the big ones out there, and we have a lot of landmarks that we know that our officers use that citizens don't know. So, I mean, we have Twin Oaks on the highway. It literally is just Twin Oaks in the middle of the freeway, but we know it as a good landmark.
I see.
If you can tell me where that's at, I know where you're at.
You got a little special code right there.
We know
right
some
there.
secret stuff.
So then you got a hysterical person
Now
on
I'm
that
always
one
going to look
line,
for Twin Oaks on the
I'm telling
101.
and you got to put them on hold for a second. And you got to actually make the dispatch out to the.
Well, actually, we have at our center right here in San Luis Obispo, over in California, we have a dispatcher works the radio position who's dispatching the officers, things like that. And then we usually have a couple of call takers that are answering the 911 calls. But if it gets busy, that radio dispatcher has to do both. They have to prioritize and say what's the most important thing out there. So if it's a big crash, we will get a million calls.
Right.
So,
And that's actually good, though. You want to encourage people to call when there's.
I always tell people, hey, that's our bread and butter. I want you to call. Because that one caller may have the most important information, and they don't know it. They just don't know how to tell you.
Do you remember the last time you called 911, Becky?
No.
I remember being on the freeway and calling because I was following somebody who was swerving all over like that was a drunk driver.
That's a big one we get. That is a big one we get. Yeah.
But I wasn't 100% sure. I mean, they were like swerving. I was like, man.
For that, should you call 911 or the 1-800-TEL-CHP?
Well, if it's swerving on the highway, you can call 911. We'll collect all the information from you, direction of travel, all that stuff, and put it out. We don't usually keep you on the radio or on the phone because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
We don't know what your driving capabilities actually are, so we usually get you off the phone pretty quickly, but we put out the information right away. on the
Dude, I
vehicle.
just find this fascinating. I don't know. I sit here and talk to Doug all day.
There you go.
We are talking with Doug Showalter. He is a dispatch supervisor for the California Highway Patrol. Well, forget my questions for a second. You're here to actually promote an open house that you're having if somebody wants to get into this field.
We are. We have a couple dates that are super important, and one of them is this coming Thursday. We're going to be at the farmers market handing out information about being a dispatcher. I'm going to be there to answer any kind of questions you have, so that's a big, important date. The bulletin for the job of public safety dispatcher comes out on Thursday also, so I'll have a bunch of those. Then we have an open house, which is next Thursday, Wednesday, June 15th, at our San Luis Obispo office at 7 o'clock, where we'll be able to answer all kinds of questions for you. What are the qualifications, how to fill out an application, all of that. So it's going to be a great time. Last time we did it, we had about 70 people show up.
Wow.
That's great. How many positions then?
Right now we have 2 open positions.
Gotcha.
So it's important that we find the right person that can do this kind of job.
Yeah.
So it's tough. We just interviewed a few people, and the really, I always ask people, I'll give you a little insight.
Yeah.
I always ask people during the interviews, we do an extensive background. Is there anything in your background you want to tell us about now that we will find out about? And I have had bad luck lately.
Oh, gosh.
Because people have told
He's
getting nervous.
I want you to ask him an interview question. Tell the truth. What would it be, Tom?
I was right up to ready to apply right to then.
Darn.
That's it.
But we do get people that will tell me, no, I can't think of anything. And then the background starts, and it turns out they were just arrested. And I'm like, you didn't think we were going to find that out? Really? So,
But do you want to know stuff like what happened when they were in college?
no,
like 20
it's,
years
you know,
ago?
I leave it up to them. Well, is there something you want to share?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, what do you background check? What is background check? How far background do you go in the background check?
It goes pretty far. We ask for your last 10 years of experience.
I didn't inhale. Come on.
Gosh. what's
That's a
wrong
question
with
I
you?
ask you as soon as you walk in our door to do the interview.
Yeah.
I hand you a paper that says, when's the last time you did these things?
I got you.
It's unfortunate. But,
Gosh,
you
I
know.
just got all sweaty over here.
Oh,
now.
my.
So nervous. I'm shining like a little light
I just
on
want to
him.
know what he's got.
I know.
I got nothing. Leave me alone.
Oh, he went to Oklahoma. Okay.
I got nothing. We're talking with Doug Showalter with the California Highway Patrol. So an easy way to find out a little bit more information would be to head to Farmers Market on Thursday, find your booth. And
Absolutely. We're going to have tons of information for everybody. I'll have lots of handouts and stuff like that. Or come to our open house on Wednesday, June 15th.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
7 o'clock. We'll be glad to answer all kinds of questions. Our background officers will be there to answer what they look at in your background. So,
Can I ask a question about that, seriously?
Sure, go ahead.
That obviously has nothing to do with me here, but with marijuana
Right, I'm
being...
asking for a friend.
this is for a friend, for sure.
lots of winking going
With
on.
marijuana being as pervasive as it is, and with potential laws on the books, and with other states changing laws, are you guys... How do you scrutinize marijuana use?
Well, the form that you fill out in the lobby while you're waiting to be interviewed asks you that particular question. When's the last time you did it?
Okay.
If it's anything less than a year, you're disqualified.
That's it. So it's 1 year...
For marijuana.
I see. Okay.
So
All right.
it's I understand there's a lot of controversy with that, but that's the rules right now.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to know the rules. And
Yeah.
Black tar heroin?
Well,
Is that going to be a year?
shall we list them all?
What's wrong with
Magic
you?
mushrooms.
My
How
man-
far do you want to go?
My man Doug Showalter right here at the CHP. That's great. Well, great to talk to you. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Doug.
to meet you guys.
JW, thanks for bringing him in, and have fun at your kids' graduation up there at the Tascadero Memorial Stadium there. All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. Farmers Market tomorrow night. Open house next Wednesday. Doug Showalter with the CHP.
Thank you. Good
All right.
morning.
Thank you. Let's play a little Florida Georgia Line now. This is Holy on the Jug.